This is going to be good for you to look at. Let's see. Do you see that? Like, these are little commissions. They're not much, right? 1,200, 1,300, 1,100, 1,300, 1,300, 1,075. Like, that's not that high of commission for 1, 2, 3, 6 for 6 leases. But what's interesting is that they were all at the same apartment complex. And you just like bulk lease a lot of people at the same building. That's one thing that's kind of cool. It proves the point to where if you're a locator, you can just focus on 2 or 3 apartments over and over and over again. And as the occupancy lowers a little bit, like people move out, then you put people in. And as they're moving out, more people coming in. So as long as you have 3 really strong buildings to refer to, it's not like you need a whole city to do 6 figures as a locator. You just need 3 amazing buildings that know you. So whenever you lease with them, it's like, oh, it's Pierre with NAL. Then they pay you on time and they respect you, and you can send all your clients out there. I have properties as a locator that will allow me to send my clients from home even when they require other locators to escort. And you only can build a relationship like that when you do like 6 leases over and over and over again, you know? So that was one of our agents that did that. It's awesome. And that's how you can kind of start combining those commissions, even when they're smaller. Because you can do 3,000 or 4,000 in commissions as a locator, as long as it's like a 2-bedroom paying 150%. That's already $3,000 per commission there. So these look like little 1-bedrooms, but still, it all adds up. Anyhow, so the plan for today is we're going to go ahead and prioritize any questions from our Locator Academy students, and then I'm going to quickly answer the Skool students, because we prioritize those 2 in order. So like Locator Academy, high ticket students, we'll answer their questions. But actually, let's do that second, because a lot of our students in our 8-week Locator Academy just ask like way too hard of questions. And a lot of you guys just leave because it's just like way too advanced. So how about we save the Locator Academy questions towards the end? And we'll just start off with like the Skool student questions that are more like basic and beginner friendly. That way no one is like completely lost when we start talking about Google LSAs and remarketing on Meta and filters and like conversion events. Like, I don't want you guys to just take off when we start talking about paid ads. So, okay, that's what we'll do. If you have any other questions, though, pop them in the comments, please. And then I will answer your questions in the live comments, like right after I answer the Academy students and the Skool students as well. All right, one sec. Sounds good. Cool. I have the list right now that Ray gave me, and so we will do that. Let's see here. What's up, David? Let me just say hi to you guys real quick. Let's see. Years of experience. What's up, Didi? What's up, what is your name? Mexicutioner. What's up, Mexicutioner? That's awesome. Hey, Jessica, how are you? Let's see, Jessica. Starting next Wednesday, I'll do your one-on-one, and then we're gonna have some fun with that, making sure that I'm holding your hand every step of the way. We're gonna make sure everything is perfect for you, Jessica, since you're a new Locator Academy sign up. So I'll be conducting your one-on-one on the 22nd. I'm excited for that, and this will be also a really great way to gauge from you, Jessica, like any other little video lessons that we might discover on our one-on-one. If we come up with anything that's missing, I'm going to take that opportunity to add it to ALM 3.0. So this is going to be mutually beneficial. I'm really excited for our one-on-one with you and I, Jessica. It's going to be great. Okay, let's see. What's up, David Farrell? How are you? What's up, Rachel? We can hear you. Yes, you can hear me. Loud and clear, sweet. How fast were you paid on those average? My average is like 45 days. I've been paid as fast as 10 days. The building was the High Line in North Austin off Legendary Drive in Palmer Lane, to be exact. They paid me in 10 days once, but that's because my client moved in immediately. It was like a vacant unit. I think I helped them Friday. They applied Friday, moved in Saturday, and it was like 10 days after that, they just paid me. And that's because I used to lease a lot at Highline, because there were especially back in like 2018. They just always had the best deals for how nice their building looks in North Austin. So a lot of the times, like, I would get clients in Austin and they're like, we want to live in the Domain, but the Domain is a really expensive little submarket. So I would always upsell Highline. It just worked so well because I would say, like, okay, you want a 2-bedroom in the Domain. They're going to start at like 2,200, like for the residences and the villages, but not the nice ones are more. So I'm like, that's what you can pay. This is back then. And I'm like, or you can be like 9 minutes away from the Domain and then lease it Highline. That's a class A, and you can get a 2-2 for like 1,600, and then so you're paying like $700 less every month. And they have great amenities. They have the little virtual golf thing. If you walk over to the Montera, that's right next to it. And I'm like, why don't you just do that? And a lot of the times people were like, okay, yeah, it's only 9 minutes away from the Domain. Let me check it out. So we'd go and tour them and they would like give them 1 month free. The building was nice. It was class A, more space than the Domain apartments. And I would always just lease people at the Highline so many times because, people want to live in the Domain, but they don't want to pay those prices. And once they see the square footage, they're like, what's plan B? And my plan B was always Highline. So that's when I was paid the fastest. But you can, like, if it's taking you more than 60 days to receive a check, something is wrong. Like 90 days, that's bad. If we have, at my company, NAL, we don't promote our firm. We're not like actively recruiting agents. We just make the offer to our existing students, right? But for our agents, if we don't get paid in 90 days on any invoice, that's like a red flag. We move all those invoices and give them to our lawyer that backs our company. And then they start more aggressive collections, like sending over certified mail in a big envelope that's like, urgent, this is NAL's lawyer, pay us. That's one of the tactics that we use, is that giant certified mail envelope. We send over emails with like capital urgent, and then we just start, it's coming from the lawyer. So a lot of the times when properties see communication on behalf of you from like a real lawyer, they're going to go Google the law firm. And once they realize it's a real law firm, they just pay. It's just like, oh, okay, this locator got a real law firm, just pay them. And then we get paid. So we can collect at a really high rate, even if they're like ghosting you, if you have a lawyer to back you. Because a lot of the times, the lawyers don't even have to do anything. It never goes to court. Like, that's not going to happen. They just want to know that you're really lawyer backed, and then they prioritize you. So, okay, that's one thing to keep in mind. Jessica says, hey, yep, can't wait. Awesome. Yeah, Jessica's awesome. Watch you start making 6 figures soon, and then you become a coach for us. Watch that happen. What's up, Brian, Texas realtor? Hello. Cool. Okay. Let me get to the questions now, though, so then I can help everyone else out as well. Let's see. Oh, you guys won't even believe what happened like literally 1 hour ago. Let me just tell that story really quickly, then I'll get to the questions. Okay. So literally an hour ago, I get a someone's knocking on my door. I'm like, okay. So I go out there. I thought it was like Amazon, and I opened the door, and it was this like really nice lady named Cian. And I'm like, oh, hi. And she's like, hey, I saw you a VSL. I saw a video. I'm like, huh? And I'm like, are you a neighbor? And she's like, no, I saw you like on a Facebook ad. I was like, wait, what? And she's like, yeah, you teach locating and stuff, right? And I'm like, yeah, I do. And she's like, yeah, I live like down the road, and I saw your ad on Facebook, and the landing page had your address. And so she's like, I thought this was an office. So she drove to my house and knocked the door, and she's like, is your name really Pierre? I'm like, yeah, my name is Pierre. This is where I live. And she's like, oh, I thought that was your internet fake name. I'm like, nope, this is where I live. And so someone, a lead from Facebook ads, this really awesome lady I got to meet just now, knocked on my door. So we had a nice talk about apartment locating. She was getting real interested in real estate again because she had taken a test a few years ago, and she saw a Facebook ad of us promoting the school. So she drove over thinking it was an office, and I'm like, no, we're all in the cloud. We do live Q&As, we do Zoom calls, and that's actually how we work as locators as well. Everything's from home. And she's like, wow, that's really cool. I didn't even know you were real. And so, I let her in, and she's like, oh, I love your house. So I was showing her the house and everything. And I'm like, let me record a video because no one's going to believe this, that like you are like here from a Facebook ad that I'm running. And so there's a video I posted on Instagram just now. It's on my story. And it's like me and Cian. And she's like, hi, I saw him on a Facebook ad. I thought that was really hilarious. Okay, so David is asking, would it be crazy to create a referral business for agents in other states and cities handling their lead generation? No, that's a really good thing to do, David. That's a great thing to do for sure. A lot of the times what we do is we send over our certain referrals like rental houses if we can't convert them to a townhome apartment, or clients that want to buy a house. So the idea as a locator is that you close your client and make commission, and then your system, your CRM, nurtures them automatically for you through an automation, a 12-month automation. That's what should happen. And then towards the end of that, like month 9, month 10, month 11 of the automation, you want to start talking to them about why buying a house, especially new construction with an incentive, really makes sense over renting. And so you want to have an automation that will send out text and email and voicemail to do that for you automatically, right? And of course, it's going to also ask them, if now is not a good time, I can help you find another apartment and we can lock down another move-in special. But you want to set that up automatically on the background, so that way you know that there are touch points with every single client that you close. And so sometimes in my practice, I would say 10%, yeah, like a solid 10% of my repeat clients next year, they want to buy a house. And so my system is specifically talking to them about new home construction because it's easier than resale. And so in a perfect world, you help a client, you make commission from an apartment, then they want to buy a new home, and then you help them buy a new home. Now, if they're not sold on the whole new home idea, because like in some markets, it's not like Texas where there's new home builders everywhere, then sometimes they really want to consider resale. I will refer those leads to traditional realtors, and the going referral fee is 20%, sometimes 25%. And so we had an agent, Dawn, that we sponsor at NAL. She got like a $4,000 commission check because one of her locator clients really wanted to look for like resale homes. And she's like, nope. And she just gave it to a realtor. And then they closed her a house and put in more of the work doing resale, which I would never want to do. And then they sent her like 25% referral, which is like $4,000. And so it came in and I was like, hey, Dawn, I got your $4,000 here. I was like, was this a 200% lease? And she's like, no, I just referred my client to some realtor. And so I was like, well, congratulations, here's your $4,000 referral check. So sometimes that does happen where you can refer your leads to traditional realtors and they'll close them for like 25%. So yeah, if you can like streamline that, what you could probably do is get organized on Locator IQ, this CRM, and you can create like a whole nother pipeline and then a whole automation that sends them over. So yeah, you could do that. It would just take like a pipeline duplication, a specific survey on IQ. I might even have that like laid out. What about apartment locator referrals for other agents in popular locator cities? Yeah, I know what you mean. So like one locator in Texas refers to a locator in Boston, right? I've done that before because it was like an agent I was really, really close with. But technically, you have to check the real estate commission laws on compensating out-of-state agents because it differs. I think the last time I did that, I sent the lead from Austin. It was a corporate client too. This dude was so lucky. I had a corporate client that I helped do blanket leases. And so it was a Airbnb corporation, and they contacted me and they're like, we need help with introductions to like master lease a lot of these like apartments downtown, or at least 20 of them, so we can like flip them on Airbnb. And so I was like making introductions, and I closed like 20 leases at Corazon, 20 leases at the Beverly, like 18 at Uptown, all at one transaction. So that's where you can make 5 figures as a locator. And that same client was like, hey, we're going to expand to Boston, and I wasn't licensed. So someone in my office at the time, I was at Citywide in North Austin. I was like their top producer at Citywide under Susan, the broker. We had someone that migrated over to move to Boston, but he was still locating. And so I contacted him. I'm like, you want an amazing client that's going to make you like 100 grand? He's like, yes. So I'm like, okay. And I referred my client. At the time, they were called You Rent. And I'm like, look, this is You Rent. Here's their VP. Go close like 20 units in Boston. And so that's when we looked into the real estate policy, and like you were allowed to do it. But the problem, what you're asking is like, if it's like Texas to Kansas, or Texas to Florida, or Texas to like other markets, you have to check with both real estate commissions, because some of them are like, no, you can't do that. They have to be licensed in both states. And then some other real estate commissions are like, yep, you can do that as long as it's from one license holder to the other, and you cleanly pass off the client, then yeah, you can do it. So you have to like check the regulations, because it's not just about the Texas Real Estate Commission. You have to also consider the other real estate commission state as well before you do that, right? But yeah, it did work from Texas to Boston, and then he was awesome. Like I made him like 100 grand off of like one referral. I was like, help my client in Boston. He was like, yes, thank you, Pierre, because I wasn't gonna get licensed in Boston, so I just sent it over to him. What was your approach to soliciting locator services to corporations? Hey, Brian, you do that with 2 different levels. The first kind of type is like the short-term rentals, Airbnb, HomeAway, Expedia, Booking.com. Like those corporations that want to like lease for the market rent and then charge like 5 times through Airbnb and HomeAway and Booking.com. That's like a short-term rental client. And the way you find those, we have lessons in the Masterclass. I guess I'll just reveal some secrets with you guys right now, since I'm in a good mood. My girlfriend's coming back in an hour, so I'm in a good mood. The way you do that is you could scrape Airbnb or HomeAway, and a lot of the times you can filter for like actual companies that are out there. And as long as you peek into their profile, you can see how many units that they have. And so a great example is, you find a profile on Airbnb, it's a corporation, and you're like, oh, they have like 7 units in Austin. I bet they want to expand. And then you just go into the website, contact them, and you send a loom, and you're like, what's up? I'm an apartment locator. I know you've never heard of this, but I can help you make introductions to these buildings all around downtown, and I can make sure they work with you. And all you got to do is pay me nothing. The apartments do. So why don't we get in touch? So that's how you can lead gen for those types. That's like a really easy way to do it. And a lot of the times they don't know locators exist. So they hop on a phone. They're like, wait, you can help us for free? And you're like, yeah, I already know all the property managers. Let me make an introduction. Just say that I'm representing you, and the apartments will end up paying me. And you'll get all the specials and everything. So they're like, great, you're basically going to work for us for free. So that's why they let you represent them. Now, the second type, Brian, is a standard traditional corporation that I've worked with. So I've worked with companies like Spectrum, Dell, Apple in North Austin, again, off like Legendary Drive, the Apple campus. And what you can do, it's not like I represented all of Apple, no, but what you can do is you can represent little teams, little hiring teams of Apple in your little city pocket area. And so when I reached out to Apple, I was in contact with their like hiring and recruiting person, and I just sent an email. I did bug them like 4 times though. And I was like, hey, I'm a local locator. This is what my service is. You probably, one of your duties is to find suitable housing for your new employees that are coming from out of state. So you can just let me take that over for you, that stress. I'll help them, get your employees a place to live for free. You don't even pay me anything. So that's how I got in contact with a little hiring team at Apple, and also Spectrum, which is in, I think, Northeast Austin. Yeah. and then Dell as well, like Louis Henna, because a lot of the times they have employees that it's their responsibility to help like 8 of their employees relocate and stuff. And so if they can just offset that work to you as a locator, it's not like they have a database. So they're like, great, that's one thing off my plate. Pierre is going to find like my 8 2-bedroom apartments for my people. And that's how you can do that. And so that's even easier than short-term rentals, is when you can just like reach out to Dell and you're like, hey, who's your hiring recruitment person? Okay, let me do the work for you. And then you just go to an apartment and you're like, I need 8 2-bedrooms for these people at Dell. They're looking to move in here. What's the rent? And you present like 3 options to these corporations, and you're like, hey, here are the options. You got Highline, you got the Montera, you got the other one. It's right next to the campus. These are the market rents for the 3. It's what I highly recommend. And the person emails back, hey, Highline looks like it's a good deal. Can they do that 1 month free for everyone? You go, yep. They can do a 1 month free for all your employees, and then they sign 8 deals at once. That's how you can do that. So the traditional like employee relocation is like the most ideal client in locating, is when you help, and you can do this for countless. I just gave you 3 examples that I really did. Like actually, I did Dell, Spectrum, Apple, their little teams, right? But you can do this for any company that has like a hiring manager, a recruitment manager, and it's their job to like find housing for their staff. You can reach out to them as well. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. Excellent. Yes. Would the approach for approaching corporations work for military as well? Yeah, that's a great angle. Actually, I didn't think of that, Jackie. That's a good point. You could totally target military, especially if it's like the military, like part of their employees. Yeah, that's a great angle. I've never even thought of that. That's a good point. That's great. People ask me if I'm military all the time. Where did I drive to before? Oh yeah, a car wash. I just signed up for this like monthly car wash right next to where I live, so I can keep driving through and get the ceramic. And they were like, "Are you military?" Just because I have a shaved head. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not military. Just because I look like it. I guess I look like a soldier. I don't know. What do you guys think? They're like, "Are you military, sir?" I'm like, "No, I've never been in combat." No, I am not military. I just like shaving my head. Okay. All right. Let me get to the questions now. And so I have to wrap this up in like 30 minutes max. So I'm going to get the questions ready now for my staff and then run through answering all of those. Okay. Before I do that, let me hit you with just a quick, I'll spam you with just one testimonial. I'll be right back.
This is Dominique, a seasoned agent with over 10 years experience being a realtor and getting involved in property management. Now she's finding success in a much simpler business model with apartment locating. Even with her awesome experience in the industry, the sky is the limit. Let's hear it from Dominique.
I've been in real estate in different capacities over the last 12 years. I've done property management and I've done apartment locating, and I'm a realtor. So I've done a lot of different training programs in marketing and just all kinds of things. I'm constantly wanting to grow. And I just really enjoyed the program. I felt like it was really well laid out. And even someone like me coming from a place where I've been in this industry for a long time and I've learned a lot from so many people over the years, it was still really valuable to me, especially coming back to apartment locating, because I had been away from it for a while and in property management and then also just selling houses. And I felt like I really just kind of needed a refresher without having to go, join a specific company. So I really enjoyed the program. I love the way that it was laid out. And even for me as a seasoned agent, I felt like it brought me incredible value. So I'm super excited about the new program that's coming out as well. Another thing that I just love is just being a part of the Facebook group. I always feel like you're available, and then there's a bunch of other people in the group that are super helpful when I have questions, just like one-off questions that come up, whether it be about clients or different properties. Everybody's always collaborating and are super helpful because everybody just wants you to be successful. So I'd really love that about the program. And then of course, I know I bug you via Messenger and just ask you random questions, and you're always super available, even though you have, a bunch of students and a bunch of people in the group.
If our students can receive results like this, then so can you. Tap the link below this video, take the next step, and we'll see you on the other side.
Okay, I'm back. I have the questions. Thank you for the little intermission. Here's another one, $1,100. Here's this one right here. What's this one? One's for $1,839. The other one's $2,100 for a grand total of almost $4,000. $3,968. I hope you can see that. Yeah. This is an agent that had no experience, and then Alex, our head coach, trained her, put a lot of time into her. and she is completely crushing it, like multiple six figures now from like nothing, thanks to Alex's coaching. So yeah, that's like Alex's star student right there. She's killing it. All right, I've got the questions right here, and I'm going to answer them quick. All right, let's see. Boop, 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 boop. What's up, Sarah? So Sarah from the Skool group. I'm brand new to real estate. How exactly does apartment locating work? And do I need my real estate license first, or can I start learning before that? Yeah, you can definitely start learning before that, especially because you're only in the Skool group. Like, it's just 67 a month. So you can start learning and setting up some basic stuff. More of our advanced infrastructure and things that you really need to make this into a six-figure business, it is in the Masterclass. I mean, we have to reserve some stuff, but with the Skool group, you can at least get the basics covered and start building basic infrastructure. And that's what you'll need to close your first couple of leases. So apartment locating is like this. So you're a licensed real estate agent, and you just help regular renters rent regular apartments. And the reason that we choose to focus on this niche, Sarah, is because unlike being a realtor or dealing with rental houses, where it's like super hard, okay, whether it's a rental house or a house purchase or listing a house, it's a lot of convincing to allow someone for you to be their listing realtor or to represent them on a buyer rep contract that nowadays has to be signed according to NAR if you hold the realtor trademark. Okay. And convincing someone, persuading them to sign a contract before you even begin the work is tough. And then you have to do the work and you have to market. And then once you start getting offers from buyers, let's say, you have to present those offers in writing in a timely fashion to your client that you're representing. Okay. And then you have to relay what they think about the offer back to the original offerer, the person who is sending an offer out, all through email, in writing, and in timing. The problem is that if you mess up the timing, you can get sued. Real estate transactions or realtor transactions is like where lawsuits happen the most in life. Because if you think about it, most people in life, we're not like crazy giant business owners, and we're not like celebrities. You know what I'm saying? Like, so the lawsuits that regular people deal with, like you and I, is like real estate related transactions, like when you're going to buy your first house. You know what I mean? So that's where lawsuits happen for like regular people like us. So when you're a realtor, you are literally in a high pressure contract environment to where if you mess anything up on timing, on delivery, on everything, you can get sued a lot. So that's why I don't like that. And then even when the offer is accepted, sometimes you run into this stage called contingency. And it's like, okay, they accept the offer, but only if they sell their current home at this amount of time. Then it's like more to worry about and follow up with and keep track of. And then if the contingency fails, it's like, now what do you do, right? You have to know what comes next as the realtor. And so your client's going to be like, why? We got an offer. Why aren't we closing? And then you have to explain to your client, because they didn't fulfill the contingency. So let me go review the contract again and see what our options are. Okay, because they failed on the contingency, it looks like you can do these two things, client. Imagine having to translate all that nonsense, like back and forth as a realtor. So I think I'm painting the picture. It's just hard work to be a realtor. So when you give me, if you present me that option and then you present me an alternative where it's like, okay, Pierre, you could be a realtor and get sued maybe and work harder. And then you have to drive around because the resale, they have lock boxes. It's like, there's no way you can work remote as a realtor. It just doesn't exist. Right. So if you give me an alternative and you're like, you can be something called a locator, where there are no contracts to deal with. There are no buyer rep agreements to get signed before you start working. There's no contracts. So I'm like, great. Well, what about contingencies and like things that realtors have to deal with? Nope, none of that. So what does the job entail? What do I really do as a locator? Well, You find 2 great apartment deals in like 5 minutes by manipulating your database. You post those 2 apartments online for free. And then when people reply to you that they're interested in the apartment, you just entice them for a quick phone call. Yep, it's available. Call me before we lose the special. You get a phone call. Oh, yeah, you want to live in Cedar Park by Lakeline? These are the 2 options. That's why I posted the ad. Can you tour Saturday? Yes. Okay, well, just write Pierre on the app if you decide to move forward. Is that cool? Of course. That's the whole job. So they're going to go tour this Saturday to 2 apartments that I've pre-studied and researched. And they like me because I'm just making an effort to be friendly over the phone or over Zoom. And I'm just being friendly with them, letting them know it's a free service. There's no contracts with me. It's all good. Just go out there and tour. This is all I do is find good apartment deals. Just make sure to write Pierre or NAL on the rental app. That is such an easier thing to do as a real estate agent over being a realtor. And then if they do apply and write my name down, I can bill that apartment anywhere from $1,000 to like $5,000 per transaction, depending on the commission percentage, depending on if it's a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, or located downtown. But that's the range of commissions. Sometimes it's $1K if it's a little studio paying 75%. Sometimes it's $5K if it's a 3-bedroom apartment paying 150%, you know? So, I mean, I would just much rather do that. There's virtually no way I can get sued. I'm not dealing with any contracts. I'm not providing advice on any contract. I'm not doing anything. I'm not even driving to the property. I'm just being friendly over Zoom or friendly over the phone. Yep, go this Saturday. The team is going to help you. And then, keep me in the loop. That's all I'm doing is I'm pushing people out there. So then the question is like, how do you become a great locator? Well, the initial ads that you've selected to promote, those have to be great deals or not, no one's going to reply to you, right? So it's all about, can you manipulate your database properly? If you really know how to manipulate your database, then you'll become unstoppable as a locator. Then the next part of being successful and doing $20,000 or $30,000 months is, can you be likable? When people call you, can you put them at ease? Can you make them feel comfortable? I don't know why you couldn't. It's a free service. We're not even asking for money. So, but can you get on the phone and then be friendly with people? If you can do that, they're going to trust you. And so if they're calling you looking to want to rent by Lakeline and you already know the 2 best deals at Lakeline, it's just a matter of being nice to them and telling them to go tour. The staff is going to tour them and close them on your behalf while you sit at home on your couch. I've closed, I can't tell you how many people on this couch, So that's all you really have to do. And there's no way you can get sued because you don't deal with contracts. The apartment staff does. They sign the Blue Moon software lease with them, right? And they do all of that. You don't. And there's no contingencies or time frames like, oh, you didn't send the offer in 4 days, sued. There's none of that. Right. So that's why I would rather be a locator over a realtor, and I can make more money. And nowadays, if you go to Indeed or Glassdoor or ask ChatGPT, the average income of a locator is close to like 80, while a realtor income is like 50, 54K average. So now it's documented on these other sites that locators make more. You can just look it up. Don't trust me. Okay, let me continue on with the other questions real quick. Jake Collins. I probably shouldn't say your last names on here. My bad. Jake says, how long does it usually take to close your first paying client as a locator, and what does the process even look like from lead to lease? Yeah, so Jake, you're probably just starting off with us. So first off, welcome. When you work your first 2 months as a locator, you're going to be setting stuff up, understanding the model, putting your first few ads out there. It's 1 week of training first, the way we walk students through. So you're not going to make anything for a month at all. You'll probably won't make anything for 2 months, but you're going to, as long as you're working consistently during those 2 months and you're understanding what to do, you're getting a grasp for it, you're finding the right apartments, you're posting them, and then you're actually jumping on these easy calls and you're just like, yep, go tour. Yep, go tour. Yep, go tour. Like, once you keep doing that for a month, someone's going to go tour and just appreciate that they spoke to you for free and apply and write your name down. Then you have to bill it. Okay. So if you're with the right brokerage firm, you should get paid within another month. So I would say, like, give it 2 or 3 months before you get your first check. And I know that's hard for a lot of us adults to do, especially when you're not already making 10 grand or more a month. I understand, as an adult, it's hard to, like, jump in something new and then give it your all and then expect to not be paid for 2 or 3 months. I get it. But that's the reality of becoming a real estate agent. There's no way around that. Like, it's even harder as a realtor, you know? But so as a locator, you can get through that 2-3 month period faster than a realtor would. But that it does exist. So you have to understand, you have to learn, you have to try your hardest. You're not going to receive a check for 2 or 3 months. It's just a reality. But the goal is that once that first check comes in, you can pay your bills, then the next one comes in, then the next one comes in, the next one comes in. And then every few days, you just get random checks that come in. So that's kind of the idea of the mail money process. Okay, Amanda, do you have to physically tour apartments with clients, or can the whole thing be done remotely? We just answered that a couple minutes ago. You can do it completely remotely. And then some locators will say, yeah, but some apartments require you to escort. What is that all about? So in Texas, fewer do require you to escort. But even when they do require you to escort, they're on and off about those policies anyways. Like, 1 month it's escort only, then the next month, like a holiday will roll by, then you can send, and then COVID happened, and then everywhere you could send. So, like, thanks to COVID as well, apartments are more okay with allowing all of us to send and pay us anyways. And in Texas, most apartments allow you to send and not show up in person. Now, we have a video lesson and something we teach in our Masterclass where even if your client chooses an apartment by accident that required you to escort, there are still ways that you can get paid. And I'm not going to go over it again because I feel like every live Q&A, I have to answer this question. But basically, you explain to the property why it makes sense to all 3 parties, why it makes sense for your client that you don't show up on tour, because now there's, not 2 professionals breathing down their neck. So it's more comfortable for the client. That's most important in real estate. That's the principle, is the client. The second reason is that it's better for the apartment staff. They prefer that locators don't show up and try to do their job for them. Then the third reason is it's actually better for the locator. We can help more people as a company find suitable housing. So that makes us more productive members of society. So that's like the argument. We say, hey, it's better for us, it's better for you, and most importantly, it's better for the client if we don't show up. So when we reply like that in the Masterclass ALM 3.0, we give you like a script on email. We give you a Loom video so you can explain to them on Loom. And then that, along with, like, if you actually took a Zoom call, you can share, if you have Zoom Pro and you set it to auto record, because Google Meet, you can't do that. You can't auto record on Google Meet. A lot of people don't know that. But with Zoom Pro, you can. So if you provide the Zoom link, then it's like you're being very transparent. So when you're asking for payment anyways, you're giving them a great argument. You're like, yo, it makes more sense for me. It makes more sense for you. And it makes more sense for the client. Why would we escort? And then under that, you're like, by the way, here's the full Zoom link of the appointment, just so there's full transparency that, yes, we did do the work. And so when you send it off like that, it works like more than half the time. And even if the apartment doesn't switch to paying on send, they'll still honor your invoice. Because a lot of times we have 700 students, actually more. We have more than 700 students now that have joined either our Locator Academy or the Masterclass. And we have feedback now where they're like, dude, this template saved my commission. They're like, they accidentally went to a building that required escort. I just copied and pasted the ALM template with the Loom video and it worked. So we have tons of emails like that. I need to take screenshots of them so I can just show y'all. Remind me to do that. I'll take screenshots and just upload them on here so you guys can see. but it does work more than half the time because it is a good argument. And then when they see your Zoom link, they're like, they're even sharing the work that they did. So then they're like, hey, I got this. You'll get these replies a lot. You'll go, hey, we're not going to just pay on send, but we did read your email. The argument made a lot of sense. And we saw that you like showed us the Zoom link of you actually doing the work with them. So we're going to pay you on this invoice, but please in the future, just try to show up with them. That's kind of like the feedback that you'll get sometimes. So you can still get paid, but they just might reply like that. So that's just kind of the idea there. Let me go on to the next question here. Ethan Rogers, what makes locating totally different from traditional real estate? I keep hearing it's easier to get started. Why is that? Yeah, locating is much easier because why is it easier? There's no contracts to deal with. You can work from home actually for real. What else is there? It allows you to travel. Like my girlfriend very recently just called me like 2 days notice and she's like, hey, I want to go to Chicago. You want to book a flight for this weekend? I'm like, yo, it's Wednesday. And I'm like, okay, let me check my schedule. I had like one Zoom call on Saturday and I was like, I'll just do the Zoom call on my phone. So I just like up and booked a ticket to Chicago last second round trip on Southwest. And I just flew out there. You can't do things like that as a realtor if that Saturday appointment required you to do resale, because you have to show up and like, you know, do the appointment and then tour. And it's a much bigger deal when it's a house over an apartment. But for me, I can just like kind of like bring my laptop and like go anywhere in the world that I want, because if I have locator calls, they're all remote anyways. And it's also just not a big deal. I just have to make sure that I'm doing a good job on the phone or on Zoom. As long as I feel good, I'm not like sick, I didn't lose my voice. As long as I'm like, okay, I'm going to take this Zoom call on the phone, like right after I land. As long as I'm just can make them feel comfortable and like me and build the trust, I can still push them out to tour, like no matter where I am in the world, right? This is why I like to go visit my family a lot in Argentina, because when I'm in Buenos Aires, that's like my favorite city because I'm half Argentinian. When I go to Buenos Aires, I like 9 a.m. is noon in Buenos Aires. So I can like sleep in completely and still start my day at 9 instead of noon, like, right? And when I do wake up at not like when I'm ready and up and active at 9, it's like 6 a.m. in the States. And so you can kind of really take advantage of life that way when in real estate. If you're a real estate professional, you can really take advantage of pockets like that in life when you're actually able to work remote, you know? So that's another reason that it's easy, Amanda, or Ethan, I mean. Okay, so Megan Turner, if I don't live in a big city like Austin or Dallas, can I still make good money doing apartment locating online? Yes. The reason we know that is because of our students that have joined. So we had a student join in Virginia, and then we had a student join in Boston, also New York, and also the weirdest one was the U.S. Virgin Islands. That's where this awesome lady, her name's China, joined our program. And keep in mind, we don't market to outside markets. Like when I run paid ads, like the lady that showed up to my house an hour ago from a Facebook ad, watch the beginning of this Q&A. I told a story on how someone knocked on my door an hour ago and it was like someone from a Facebook ad and it was so cool. And I'm like, come on in, I'm real. And she's like, your name is really Pierre. And so anyways, so we run ads in Texas and we promote our school group because naturally it's easier to run ads with to the $67 a month, you know, cheap offer, right? And the idea there is to like introduce apartment locating to people and let them know, hey, we're going to help you do your first lease. And once they do their first lease and they're like, oh my God, I made $2,000 off your $67 a month thing, then we try to get them to reinvest into our real Masterclass. Like that's our strategy with paid ads. So yeah, this lady came over from a paid ad like that, but we only market ads. in Texas. But somehow people will find us like through the website or on YouTube, and they'll just join anyways because they like the idea. So this has happened to us in Virginia, Boston, New York, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and the weirdest one was when we got this long email from China out in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and she was like, "Pierre, you changed my life. I made $4,000 in like 3 days." And we're like, "Whoa, are you in Dallas?" And she's like, "No, I'm out in the U.S. Virgin Islands." And we're like, "Where is that?" You know? And she's like, "Look, out here, it's all private landlords. There is no traditional like management companies like Greystar and, you know, Lincoln and all of them." And she's like, "I just like the concept of how locating is easier. And I get the concept. Like, I help them with find a renter. They pay me 1 month out of the year." She's like, "I get the core concept. So I just tried it out here with these private landlords." So what she did is she reached out to these private landlords and she's like, "Hey, look, you're going to pay me a month only after I bring you a renter. Is that cool?" And they're like, "Yeah, that's cool." It's not out of pocket. So she's like, "Great." And then took our program and then was like, "I'm going to run ads the way Pierre is teaching us. I'm going to run ads like this, the way Coach Tina and Coach Alex is saying." And she just did that and then got leads, pushed them to tour with the private landlords, and she made like $4,000 in 3 days and sent us this crazy long email and was like, "I'm in tears writing this. It actually worked." So yeah, you can do this model outside of Texas and outside of Florida and Denver, these really popular locator markets. But the thing is, it is easier if you do it in a popular market because like China didn't have a database in the US Virgin Islands. So she had to create a whole Google sheet and then she would just like manually add the private landlords in the Google sheet. So whenever she would gauge interest from people, she would just send them the Google sheet. And it's like, go to these 3 like private landlords. So that is an extra step, but she made it work and she made like $4,000 in like 3 days. So you can make it work. But the reality is that if you start in a state like Texas or Denver, Colorado, yes, it is easier. It is easier because you don't have to build a Google sheet. You just get like Smart Locating or Spark database, and then it's just so easy with the database. So that is a reality. But you can do locating anywhere that has multifamily. And sometimes you can kind of look at it like, even though China out there, or we have other students like Radia in Maryland, we have another student in Virginia Beach, like even though it's an extra step of having to create your own Google sheet, what you need to, the perspective you can take is like, okay, there are probably no locators doing this. So even though it's an extra step, you're going to have like virtually no competition when you do it in the outside states. Okay. So that's one thing to consider. Brandon says, we have 8 minutes, guys. Brandon says, how much money can a new locator realistically expect to earn their first 60 days, assuming they follow the training? So like, you're not going to get really any checks until 60 to 90 days. And that's just like true in real estate. If I told you otherwise, it would just be a lie. Every real estate agent knows when you first start off in real estate, you're probably just not going to get a check for 60 to 90 days. It's just the reality of like real estate as an industry. Okay. So understand that. But yeah, our company goal, Brandon, if you're wondering like what our company actual mission statement, like what the goal is for us, we say that if you join our real program, not the crash course, not this like cheap Skool, like if you join the apartment locating masterclass or the masterclass plus live coaching, then our goal is to get you to $12,000 in production, in gross production or more. That's our company goal. Like if we can take students, make them locators, and they're producing 12K or more, we feel like we have succeeded. Like that's like, great. That was the whole goal of this. Okay. And so it is all commission based. Your income is affected by the broker that you choose as well. And you have to try, like just because locating is easier than being a realtor doesn't mean you're going to just start and like work part-time or barely try and make 20 grand a month. Like actually Alex makes like over 30 grand a month. You're not going to just become an Alex, like one of our original students that has advanced to become our head coach. You're not going to just turn into Alex. Alex worked really hard, even though he went through ALM 1.0. He still worked really hard. So you have to try your hardest. But if you do try your hardest, and then we can kind of guide you, like this is what we tell people that are on sales calls and stuff, and they're interested in like our high ticket. So we're on a Zoom call with them. We tell them like, look, the value of a coaching program or a course like this is guidance. So we tell them like, look, okay, you're on this new journey. You're trying to become a locator. You're on this new journey. Okay. Would you rather go? So think about it like it's nighttime. It's this forest, this jungle, this maze, and it's like night. And it's like you're starting the journey. Okay. If you invest in our coaching, we can show you the path that we've figured out over the years that makes more sense to travel through this dark jungle. Like that's the investment, is we can show you the path. So we're like, go straight, take a left at the oak tree, then take a right, do a circle, little walk around, then go over to the right, and you'll get there way faster. So the value of the investment is like, we'll show you the path. Now, are we going to do the walking for you? No, we can't walk the path for you, but we can definitely show you the path of least resistance so you can get to the end, which is your result that you want. So if you're like, I want to make 6 figures in locating, okay, well, with us, we tell you what to do. Step here, take a left at the oak tree, do the little circle, loop around, then take a right, and you're there in like 2 months. But you still have to walk by yourself. So hopefully that analogy kind of helps you understand like the value of any coach or any program is like, you're not paying them to walk for you, but you're paying them to let you know, hey, this is the shortcut. Don't waste all this time bumping into things and having problems and where you feel stagnant and then you never grow and you quit. Like, don't do it by yourself. But if you make the investment, we'll show you the path that others have, come out of it faster. So just understand that. And when you manage your expectations on any program in that aspect or in that perspective, you're going to get a much better result, right? So hopefully that helps. All right. What else? Lauren Pro. Nope. Brandon was answered. I got 5 minutes left and I got to go pick up Christina, everyone. So Courtney Davis. Okay, these are the more advanced questions from our Locator Academy students, like people that have actually paid $8,500 for our high ticket program. And it's the same ALM course, that 2.5K course. It's the same course, but then we give you like actual one-on-one calls, group Zoom calls, and we're more there. So that's our highest ticket offer. And these are students that are in that program that are going to ask questions now. So Courtney is saying, once you've built up a client base, how do you automate your follow-up and referral system so you're not chasing every lead manually? Yeah, so it's in the IQ pipeline, Courtney. I know you have your pipeline set up, but if you're wondering how to track the referral system, that is a newer automation. So Courtney, either reach out to me in the Skool chat, or you can go into the Masterclass. And no, sorry, it's in the Locator IQ premium course that you also have access to as well. So if you go into Classroom in Skool, actually, let me just show you. Let me just share my screen right now with you, Courtney. Hold on. Boom, share screen, entire screen, share. Okay, add to stage. Can you guys still hear? You guys still hear me? Hello. I'm going to assume you can hear me. Okay. So Courtney, what you want to do is go into Skool Classroom right here. And it's this one, IQ Premium Automations, because we just added the referral automation as well. Which one is that? Task, NAL, Connect, partial opt-in. Is it partial opt-in? This one, disqualifying survey. Watch this video. It's like 7 minutes long. So IQ Premium Automations, go into here, watch the disqualifying survey. So like Courtney, when you're organizing people through either booked Zoom calls, when they're hitting your IQ survey, if it disqualifies them, we've now recently added an automation where it disqualifies them if they choose like 500 credit score or like I have a felony. It'll disqualify them, but then it'll also automatically refer them to a colleague that you've identified. So watch this video and it should help you set that up. And then in IQ, if you want to see the automation in IQ, let me show you what it actually looks like. So you go into premium automations in IQ right here, and then it's refer lead, this one. It's the refer lead automation. So you can see right here, it's like your locator survey disqualified them. So it's like, what is the survey? Apartment search survey, disqualified, true. And then it moves them over here. Email the colleague. And so with these little, you see these little like short code snippets right here, contact name, phone, email, background, credit score. You're sending all of this from the survey right after you disqualify someone. And then you're telling them what they want and then to keep you posted. So all you got to do is like come up here, Courtney, paste the email on whoever you've identified that you want to start referring like bad leads to, paste their email here, hit save. And so now every single time someone goes through your survey, like if you're running an ad to your survey and it disqualifies them, it sends them an automatic email and a text. And it's like, hey, this is a referral for you. Keep me posted. And then if you see the next step is like wait 1 month, it's going to wait 30 days, and then it's going to text them a follow-up for you automatically. So you would want to paste their number right here. And when you paste the number here, it'll follow up and say, hi, just wanted to follow up. It's been 30 days since I've referred over John Doe. Did you close them? I appreciate you, and we'll send you some more referrals regardless, right? So the idea with this automation, Courtney, because this is actually fairly new, is that yes, you're disqualifying people, but you're automatically referring them to someone else and following up in a month, even if you forget to follow up, okay? So I just wanted to show you what that looks like. Now let me get out of here. Oh, the screen share died. Did you guys not even see anything? That's so annoying. Share screen, entire video. What about now? Let's see. Add to stage. This was the automation I was trying to explain to you. I think it glitched. So it's like the trigger is they choose a survey. The next step is they email him. So if you go into this email step, you paste your colleague's email right there, and then it texts them right here. So then you paste their phone number right here, and it says, here's a referral, and it pulls all the info from the survey right after it disqualifies them. Then it waits a month, and it texts them a follow-up like, hey, it's been 30 days. Did you close them? So that's what this automation is. You go to refer lead unqualified in Locator IQ. It's pre-built for you. Just hit publish, and then it's on. Okay. Now that I showed you that, let me remove this. Let me run through. I'm already late, but let me answer the rest of the questions. What's up, Marcus from the Locator Academy? I haven't heard from you in a while, Marcus. Marcus B. What metrics should I be watching inside Locator IQ to know if my ad funnels are actually working efficiently? That's a really great question, Marcus. You're probably getting into setting up KPIs and stuff. So let me show you while I have the screen share set up, okay? What's cool about Locator IQ is that if you go, this is where you want to just spend some time, Marcus. Go into dashboards, I think. Yes. Or is it dashboards? Yes. So in the dashboard section of IQ, you can create widgets for reporting and KPIs based on your heart's desire. So like if you just sign up clean to IQ, we give you a bunch of tasks. Like, you know, if you create tasks, the list is right here. We give you funnel info and then like how many emails delivered, how many contacts you have on your list, on your CRM, how many unread messages, and then like support. But what you can do, dude, is you can just click this button and then look at all of these other, we have pre-built KPI reporting for you. So like book calls is right here, manual calls. If you're using the phone feature on IQ, those get put in right here. So it's like book calls is for Zoom. Manual calls is for calls on IQ. And then you've got leads dashboard, and then we even have Google and Facebook ads right here. So click into this dashboard, Marcus, and then you'll see everything. Look at this, dude. Cost per click, CTR, your click-through rate, your total ad spend, total clicks, like Google Analytics reporting. So all of this, the reason we have this plugin is so that way you don't have to like log into Google Analytics every single time to see your reporting or log into Facebook ads. It's all just integrated into IQ. So you can just check this out. And if you hit the edit, you can keep adding widgets that would make sense for you. So like you can just look them up, Google, and just see like all of these widgets, maybe payments, meta ads, and you can kind of like see what elements that you want to drag in here and just kind of like play around with the formatting. It's kind of like an Android phone. You know, you can like make the widgets bigger and smaller and reposition them. You can do the same thing here with IQ. Look, you can like reposition stuff. So this is where you can get like clean KPIs, all on just like the way you want it to look. Okay, so again, guys, professional KPI reporting is a separate paid expense for usually hundreds of dollars for businesses. But we know that KPIs are important. So it's a part of IQ at no additional cost. That's what I keep telling people. Like IQ does everything. It does your surveys, your calendars, your automation, your pipeline organizing. It's even KPI reporting on your Google and Facebook ads at no additional cost. So it really does save you money. If you get stuck, Marcus, because you're part of the academy, click this little black chat icon, start a chat with my team, and just request a Zoom call. You get 24/7 live support on Zoom at any time you want, since you're a high ticket student, right? Also, if you're on Locator IQ Premium, we still give you the 24/7 support. So it could be 1 a.m. in the morning, right? You shouldn't be up that late, but it could be 1 a.m. in the morning, and you can hop on a Zoom call with my team and they will support you. Why does this screen share keep dying? This freaking screen share keeps dying on me. Jeez. Add, this is the support I was trying to tell Marcus. Click here, start a chat, and then you can hop on a 24/7 Zoom call and my team will walk you through like any of this Locator IQ stuff, okay? That's where it is right there. I just wanted to show you that. All right. Other than that, let me, Lauren, what's up, Lauren? You were on last week as well. It's good to see you back in here. So Lauren is part of our academy. For scaling beyond yourself, when do you know it's time to bring on appointment setters or a VA, and how do you train them properly? Yeah. So Lauren, I would say wait till you're doing $10,000 or $12,000 a month consistently. So like a low month is 10K. Then it's like, for me, it's comfortable. I guess you could do it at 8K a month, but hire a VA from the platforms that we show you. Don't go to like Fiverr. They're not good from Fiverr. Don't even go to Upwork. Go to the platform that we teach you in ALM. Go to that one. I can't reveal the name because then my students would be upset. There's a platform that we teach that's better than Fiverr and Upwork for hiring VAs. Just go into the course, hire them for that. And you can hire a VA probably full time for like $600 to $800 a month. And then what you can do, Lauren, is once you're at those numbers, which you might be, have them do your IQ follow-up for you. So as long as you train them into like how the task creation goes on IQ and the color coding whenever it's time to take action, train your VA specifically in the Locator IQ pipeline. A really great thing to do is just run them through the course that you've already invested in. So once you hire a VA, say, hey, take this course and have them take definitely the IQ premium automation course, and then have them do the crash course in Skool, just so they can like really quickly understand your business without you having to go back and forth with them. So just run your own VAs through your course that you have access to. Okay. And then once they know, you can have them specifically spend time in the IQ pipeline doing your daily follow-up for you. That really helps, along with posting organic ads. Like a VA can do a Craigslist ad a day and a marketplace ad a day, like nothing for you, right? They're used to doing that. So that's how you can like leverage a virtual assistants for ads, for follow-up. And then I'm hesitant to say collections because it's more difficult, and we have a whole program coming out for that. So as long as you can get your VA to do your follow-ups and then your ad posting, I mean, that's gonna double your income right there. Okay. Ryan is asking, let's see here. When running paid ads for locating, how do you test creatives without resetting the ad sets learning or wasting budget on bad clicks? Yeah, so the way, Ryan, go and watch the new King of the Hill. We're redoing the paid ad week in ALM. That's like the last week we're totally redoing. So actually give me like 4 days. get that done, Ryan. But what we're teaching now with paid ads is much more simpler than what we were doing before in like 2.0. Like with 2.0, we gave you guys way too much knowledge. It was like 5 different scenarios on how to run paid ads. And a lot of you guys just didn't use most. So what we're doing with ALM 3.0 now, and I'm like 4 days away from wrapping up the paid ad week, is we're keeping it simple. So it's one campaign, one remarketing, and that's it. That way you guys actually run paid ads, okay? And what we're teaching as far as, because you're asking like, how do you test creatives? We're going to teach something. I'll release the video in ALM in like 4 days, Ryan, but we do something called King of the Hill. I know it sounds like the TV show, but I came up with this name myself too. So it's the King of the Hill method for paid ads. So say you're running an ad on, I don't know, Facebook, okay? And you have one great video ad that's like 1.5 minutes long. And then you're testing another ad that's like an image or another minute long. And you want to test which ad is better. So the way you set that up is you create one campaign targeted in the city that you want to focus on, one ad set with the conversion optimization thing that you choose is lead gen, not sales, not awareness, lead gen. Okay. So that's your conversion event. Once you get past the ad set level, you upload 2 ads and you're going to use the King of the Hill method. So you're going to fund both of the ads on your daily ad budget. Say it's $50 a day. You're going to do $50 a day budget on the ad set level, not campaign. Because if you put $50 a day on the campaign level, Facebook will optimize it all weird and stuff, and it's not like evenly distributed. So put your ad set budget on, put the $50 a day on the ad set budget only for 2 ads inside of it. So now the $50 ought to like do 25 to add 1, 25 to add 2. And then you wait until both of the ads have like 1,000 to 2,000 impressions. Really, 2,000 impressions is safer. This will take you 4 or 5 days at that budget for both of them to reach 2,000 impressions. It's like 4 days. So you wait 4 days. Once you have 2,000 impressions, okay, then what you do is you look at the cost per lead. You look at the click-through rate. You look at the cost per like landing page view. Right, LPV is what that's called, and whichever one's way better than the other one, then you crown that one the King of the Hill, and that one's now your control. All right, so what will happen is you'll run those 2 ads, and you'll have a really great cost per lead, and then you'll run the second ad, and it's just way worse. Once you find that out in 4 days, delete the second ad, and then now you have your King of the Hill. Then what you do is you keep creating, you create another ad. And then once you have your new ad, you add it back to the ad set. And then you give it 2,000 impressions or 3 days of budget. Okay. Now, if Facebook is being greedy, I already anticipate your next question. Sometimes Facebook is greedy and it gives like 90% of your budget to one ad, and your second ad is getting starved of budget. So you can't really judge it if it doesn't have 2,000 impressions. If Facebook is doing that annoying thing where it's like prioritizing one ad because it's working better, you can pause your winning ad and then force funnel the budget into the second ad just for like a day until it reaches 2,000 impressions. Then unpause the winner in under 24 hours. The problem here is that if you leave your winning ad paused for over 1 day, you reset learning, and that's not ever really good. Okay. So just make sure to unpause it in 24 days and you won't have the reset learning issue. All right. But that's what you do if you want to force some budget to add to. Now, in 4 days, you look at that new challenger ad. And you look at the cost per lead, the LPV, landing page view, the click-through rate, the cost per click, and like how many leads it's generated. If all of those metrics are 20% better than your current King of the Hill, then you just found a new King of the Hill. So then you crown the new ad the new King of the Hill, and you delete the old ad. And you can forever test different ad iterations like this. And so what you're doing is like in time, you'll find that like it's really hard to beat your current King of the Hill because that ad is just doing really, really well. And you're just going to run that ad for a long time until you find a second one that replaces it. right? And that's how you can constantly test creatives and just keep giving better and better ads into Facebook. And what we know now, running ads for years, is that like even if you have a great ad, it's going to do something called, in time, it'll start doing ad fatigue. So like you'll run an ad for like 4 months and it's just great, and eventually the market is just so tired of seeing it that it just starts tanking. So as long as you're constantly doing the king of the hill method, before that ad gets ad fatigue and dies, well, you already found the second king of the hill. So you replace it, it's a new ad, and that's how you run your business profitably forever, Ryan. So the answer to your question is, how do you test creatives? The king of the hill method. How do you not reset the ad budget? Just unpause it in less than 24 hours, turn it back on. Then you won't reset learning. Also, don't make like dumb changes. If something's working with your ad, don't keep changing the ad copy and the words and emojis. Just leave it all alone. Because if you change the wording too much, it resets learning as well. Okay. And then how do you not waste ad budget on bad clicks? The way you don't waste ad budget on bad clicks is by the first 5 or 10 seconds of the ad, let them know that you can only help them if they're looking to rent within 60 days. That's like how you stop the waste from the ad click. So when I run my ads, I'm like, hey, if you're in the market to rent within the next 60 days, listen up. When you say that, then people like filter themselves out. They're like, I don't need to rent within 60 days, skip. So then they're not going to click in. Because the problem is if you run a fantastic ad, but you're not like letting them know I can only help you within 60 days, people are going to start clicking your ad. You're going to pay for that. And then they're not really trying to move in within 2 months. So you can't close them. So you want to filter that out in your ad and say, hey, only pay attention, or like this ad is for you if you're looking to move in tomorrow or within 60 days, then listen up. We have all the best deals. We're a local company. Working with us is for free. Check out this testimonial from our last client. Then you run the testimonial. Click below to book a call with us for free this month. That's your whole ad. But because in the first 5 seconds, I told them, I can only help you if you're looking to move in soon, that's going to avoid wasted ad spend because they're not just clicking in on a pretty ad. Okay, I hope that was helpful. That's pretty much all the time I have today. If you guys want to talk further, just like send me a DM on Instagram, I suppose, and I'll voice reply to you guys. But I have to bounce because I'm late for the airport. I think I answered everyone in the comments. Okay. Do we have to get another broker? Do we have to get another broker to do apartment locating? No, you don't really. You can be at a traditional brokerage firm, Debbie, but it serves you better to be with a broker that's locator focused. It serves you better because you just get paid on time. That's the big thing. Nora, what's up, Nora in San Antonio? How are you? Do we need to keep paying MLS dues? No. When you're a locator and you get sponsored by a locator broker, you no longer have to be a realtor or pay for the trademark or pay for local board dues or MLS ever again. Right? Which is actually like Locator IQ in the database is like less expensive than some MLS dues. Okay. How do you ensure that they are writing your name down on the application? Do you offer them an incentive to keep you on top of mind? No, I don't do incentives because the service is free. The problem is like, who asked that? House of I don't know your name, but the problem is when you offer this is weird. Like I get the idea of offering an incentive. You think it's going to help you. But when you've done business at my level, what you realize is like when you offer a free service, if you try to add more free stuff on top of it, people see it as a scam. It's the weirdest thing because you would think to yourself, hey, I'm a free apartment locator. I'm going to give you $200 more. Like you think that would help you close more, but it doesn't because people don't know you. And when people don't know you, they don't trust you. So they're weirded out. They're like, wait, your service is free and you're going to pay me? This is a scam, even though it's not. So I don't offer any incentives when I locate. I'm like, hey, my service is free. The reason that it's free, and you have to give the reason as well. I say the reason that it's free is because I want to build a relationship with you as a professional and help you buy your first house in the future. And when I explain to them that, people are like, their guard goes down and they're like, oh, that's why it's free, because you want to work with me in the future when I buy a house. I'm like, yeah, That's why my locator services are free. Then it makes sense to people. But when you start saying free, free, free a lot, and then you give them rebates and you give them cash, all you're doing is devaluing the service, but then you're actually making yourself look like a scam, even though you're not. They're just, because to a fresh prospect's mind, they're like, why would anything in life be free? Plus, you're going to pay me to work for me. This is a scam. So I don't use rebates, not really, I don't use rebates. Okay. Debbie, just ask your broker if they'll let you do apartment locating. If not, become a broker or find one that does locating. Yeah, basically. What's up, David? David, the moderator's in here. About NAR, no representation agreement either as a leasing agent. No, you don't need no representation agreement. You don't need nothing. Nothing. No contracts. Nothing. Some brokers, we have heard some brokers in locating, they're like, they're making me sign an IBS before I can refer my client. You don't have to sign an IBS. You don't have to sign anything. You just refer someone to an apartment, and as long as they write your name down, you bill them. There's no contracts in locating. Ask me how many times I've ever completed a contract in my 10-year locating experience at a multiple six-figure level. 0 times. I've never signed an IBS or a renter representation agreement ever. You don't need that. If your broker's making you do that as a locator, they just don't know what's happening and they're paranoid. But you don't really need any of that. Okay. If you're licensed in an MLS broker, then yes. Okay, that's David answering some questions for me. I appreciate you, David. David Farrell, Debbie always asks for reviews and referrals. The fortune's in a follow-up. Yo, David, if you want a discount because you're always answering and moderating in the live chats, hit me up, David. I'll like heavily discount whatever you want. Okay, Angelina, what if they don't out your name on the application? Yeah, sometimes like the client like accidentally writes Google or they forget to write your name. It happens, right? The way we take care of that is hopefully you've done business with that apartment before so they know you. Like for instance, if I send you to the Highline in North Austin and you just apply without writing my name down, I can just call Highline because they all know me. And I can just be like, yo, it's Pierre with NAL. My client forgot again. And they just pay me. So you can build the relationship up like that, but only if you have a great relationship. So the way we really handle that, if they write Google instead of your name, is 2 scenarios. Number one, hopefully you did a Zoom call because it's superior. But you have to have like IQ infrastructure to do Zoom calls and stuff, right? And like IQ Calendar or Calendly, one of those. So like hopefully you did a Zoom call because then it's like 100% chance you're going to get paid. You're like, you send an email and you're like, hey, look, this happens from time to time. Our client forgot to write our name down. They missed it on the online app. Like, here's the guest card. The guest card is just a screenshot of IQ, the contact card. So I take a screenshot in IQ of their contact. I'm like, here's the guest card on IQ. And then here's the recorded Zoom call link so you can see that I actually did the work and it's date stamped on Zoom. Can you please pay me? This happens from time to time. You're always paid when you can provide the guest card screenshot and the Zoom link. If you don't have the Zoom link, you can still provide the screenshot of the IQ because we timestamp when the contact is created on IQ, we timestamp it with like code and stuff. So it's like official. So when you screenshot that, they can see on there like the timestamp and the time code. So it's like legit. We actually learned that from Zoom. And when they see that, they're like, okay, it's timestamped. And there's a good chance that they'll just pay you anyways. Sometimes they don't. And, that sucks. But we have little touch points. So like if you're using Spark database or Smart database, whenever someone opens up a list, it'll remind them in a pop-up. Remember to write my name down. Then they hit OK and it shows them the list. You're also going to tell them on the initial call. If you follow up with them right before they tour, you're going to make an effort to remind them on the phone as well, right? So as long as there's several touch points, a lot of the times they don't forget. But if they do forget or accidentally choose Google, there are protocols to get that commission back. Screenshot of the guest card, ideally put your Zoom link so that you always get paid. And if you don't have any of that, hopefully you or your broker has a good relationship with that building and they'll just pay you anyways. That's kind of the protocol for that. There's an option in Florida for broker agreement to include lease guarantee or commission. The key is that Zoom recording mentioned earlier as advice. Yo, David, you're a boss, man. Come be a coach for NAL. Come be a coach, David. We'll give you. I'll hook you up, dude. Howdy, been posting on Facebook Marketplace 3 to 4 times a day. Dope. Haven't gotten any messages. Not even the is this available? Oh, dude, you're just choosing the wrong apartment deals, Andrew. If you're part of Skool, go into our Skool, go to Classroom, go to the crash course. I think it's week 2 or week 3. Watch the video, how to manipulate your database and how to choose apartment pricing. If you master those 2 video lessons, you'll find the deals to promote. If you're not getting any clicks and you're posting 3 or 4 times a day, something's wrong with what you're promoting. So add a video tour. Get this, Andrew, let me up level your game right now. Add a video tour of the property, call them and ask for them. If they don't have it, record a Loom video for free yourself on the website's virtual tour, and then upload that Loom video as a virtual tour, because Facebook will let you upload tours and then voice reply to people and get them on the phone. Okay, that's how you do that. Rachel says, can I get Spark with the basic Locator IQ, or do I need to upgrade? If you get IQ Premium, we give you like 60% off of Spark. David Farrell, cool. It can help build it easier to get than damn it, Pierre. Mexicutioner. That's funny. Oh, thank you for all. I'm sorry if I offended you somehow, Mexicutioner. I think that's a funny name, though. Thank you for all the information provided. You're welcome, Nora. I like doing this. It's actually really fun for me to do these Q&As. And it's like that quote. They say that when you like are a master at something, and then when you teach others, it helps you learn and retain that info better as well. So when I do these Q&As, I help you guys, but I also help myself as well. Thank you for all the information. I'd like to set up an appointment to ask more specific questions. Please contact me. Hey, Nora, go to nal.rent. That's our website, super short. Now you'll never forget it. nal.rent. And then in the top right, there's a button that says like book call. You can book that call if you really want to talk to like Alex, our head coach, for 45 minutes. And he will go through all of the options that we have and which ones could make sense for you, Nora. So the button is book now. If you go to nal.rent, it'll run you through an interactive survey, and then it'll lead you to book a call. And those are free, non-pressure. He's just going to ask you, like, he's going to tell you, like, okay, we have the Skool community, the Masterclass for like 2.5K, or the high ticket for 8.5K. Which one like makes sense to you? And then you can talk to him about what would make the most sense. So they're like non-pressure calls. So hopefully that helps. Anyways, I got to run to the airport. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.